Welcome back to another segment of Instructional Design Conversations here at Royal Roads. Today the topic is defining learners and contexts. One of the first steps of designing learning experiences is to examine your learners and the context in which learning will happen. Variables such as age, language, attitudes, prior knowledge, and physical abilities will influence the types of design that you will create. The question today: what are some of the questions you would pose to get a better understanding of the learners and the learning context? And so I'll get us started on that. There are a number of questions that I would pose. I think it would be determined by the context of the institution. So if I'm in a K-12 environment, I may pose a different set of questions. At a university, a different set of questions. So things like, I want to know a little bit about the learner's background. I want to know a little bit about their language competencies. I want to know a little bit about their comfort with the subject matter as well. So I'll put it out there for others to join in now.
I'd also like to know the level of prior knowledge. Do they have a BA? Do they have a master's? Are they working on their doctorate? They're going to bring different ways of learning into the classroom depending upon what credential they have.
So when you get the answers to those questions, how does that influence the design, and are there other answers you get later while the class is beginning that influence the teaching and have the design and the teaching interrelate?
Well, I mean, the answers and perhaps your ability to obtain this information beforehand is limited. And so you're going to learn a lot more as the course rolls out the first time. Perhaps that informs you as the person who's teaching it, or as the instructional designer, it informs you for the revision for the next time. Mm-hmm. And some of these, if you can get the information ahead of time, it's a very black and white, yes, no. It's not informed by, why, yes, they all have bachelor's degrees, but in fact, some of them got them 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So different things can be inferred in them. And one of the ones that I always like to find out is what's the variation. If the program area says these are all people who are mid-career, they're middle managers, and they are in their 40s. I want to find out, is that a strict bell curve we're talking about, or are we going to have all kinds of people with that sort of being the most common story, mm-hmm. but a lot of variation? Yeah.
I think asking the right questions can also help us to determine what delivery mode is going to work best for the learners. For example, if we were to take it into a context where workers were required to do specific training and they were spread out across the globe, then we're certainly looking at perhaps self-paced, non-instructor led kind of delivery mode. And then, of course, that's going to inform the theory of learning. Of course, we're going to be using more behaviorist principles because you want to have them be able to do assessments that could be auto marked, so they're able to move through the materials. So I think that posing the right questions could avoid a lot of big problems mm-hmm. Later on.
We have an important principle here as well about authentic learning and the activities that learners are asked to engage in something that's got a real kind of relevance to their workplace or their social environment. So it therefore follows that you need to understand a bit about that aspect of people's professional background in order to make sure that what you're asking them to do is something that has a connection and has a transferability outside of the academic environment.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on that. We're going to wrap up this segment. Join us in the next one.